Auston Matthews leaves practice early after taking a shot off the foot. Has he been playing injured all season? And Matt Murray confirmed to start for his third consecutive game this Saturday against the Buffalo Sabres. What's up, Leafs fans, and welcome back to Leafs Digest. So earlier today it was reported by both Mark Masters and David Alter that Auston Matthews blocked a shot off of his foot during one of the drills during their skate this morning, and Matthews had to leave practice early in some discomfort favoring his leg. Now, he did try to tough it out a little bit, stay out onto the ice, but ultimately ended up leaving and not being able to continue practice. Sheldon Keefe says after practice that Auston Matthews is fine and that he will evaluate the lineup for tomorrow morning. But ultimately here, the biggest story about all of this to me is that it is no surprise or it is no secret to anybody that Auston Matthews has struggled offensively to start this season. For a guy who scored 60 goals last year, the expectation was he's going to do it again or he's going to push past that. Missing 9 games last year and starting last season with an injury, having a slow start to last season as well. Going on the run that he did and managing to score 60, it wasn't unfathomable that he could potentially put up more than 60 this season. But he has started slow, and now there's much speculation out there that Auston Matthews has been playing injured since he took that cross-check against from Jamie Benn early on in the season against the Dallas Stars. I don't know whether or not this is true, but one thing is for certain, Auston Matthews has definitely not necessarily looked like his normal self throughout the beginning of this year. He hasn't quite had that dominance factor that he had last year, where every single time he went out on the ice, it looked like he was going to be able to take over the shift or take over the game. That was a guy who could go out there, especially on that run that he had where he scored 50 goals in 50 games, 50 games played for himself. I know there's people out there who want to point that out with a little asterisk, but in that run, he was the most dominant player in the NHL, and there's a reason that he won the Hart Trophy at the end of the season. Auston Matthews could not be stopped. One of the most evident cases of this was that overtime goal that he scored against the Dallas Stars, where he just said, "Boys, get on my back. We are winning this thing, and I'm going to do it for us." The guy was an absolute animal. But we have seen to start this season a little bit of what happened last year at the start as well, when he came in slow after his wrist surgery in the summer. I don't necessarily know if this is exactly him coming and playing here with an injury like he did coming into last season with the injury, but he does look hindered a little bit. He doesn't look quite as physically dominant. He is buying into things, blocking shots, taking hits, making hits himself, but it still hasn't been there from the offensive side. And we have had people in the comments or in the live stream chat saying, well, Matthews, maybe they figured out his game. Maybe they figured out how to stop him. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say, when a guy is that good, you don't just figure out how to stop him. It doesn't matter what sport it is. It doesn't matter how good the other team's defense is or their strategies are. If the guy is that good, you cannot stop them. Maybe you could slow them down, but you cannot stop them. Auston Matthews, effectively to this point, has been stopped. He's not nearly on the pace that he was, that everyone expected him to be for this season. So if he is injured, if he is hindered at all, and with this happening here today, taking the shot off the foot and leaving practice early with a foot injury, if you are anything below 100% right now, do not play. We are 18 games into the season. It is more likely than not that this Leafs team is going to be in position to make the playoffs unless they just fall off the face of the earth. But I would honestly be pretty confident in saying they will make the playoffs again this season. Don't force the guy out there. Give him an opportunity to rest for a couple games if need be, then come back and let's go on a run here. Get back to as close to 100% or at 100% as you could possibly be without forcing it. If your foot hurts tomorrow morning, if your foot is swollen, don't play. Sit in the press box and put some ice on it. If your back is hurting from that cross-check from Jamie Benn, don't play. See the team chiropractor and chill out for a little bit. We are not in dire need of wins. In fact, more than anything, we are in dire need of a little desperation out of this team. And perhaps putting Matthews in the press box just to take a little bit of a rest could give the team the boot in the ass that they need to get into shape here, where it's like, hey, we don't have that superstar guy. We don't have that guy who scored 60 goals last year to lean on as a crutch. We've got to do it ourselves. And that could entice guys lower in the lineup to step up, elevate their games, and get it to the next level. Now, that's not a guarantee that that type of thing happens, but it is oftentimes that you see bigger guys go out of the lineup that lower end players, guys on the third line, guys on the fourth line, have to elevate, because that comes into play when they feel the need to step up and contribute, because they can't look up in the lineup anymore and say, well, we've got that guy, he's going to save us. No, you can't. He's not here. You got to play. This team needs a little desperation in their game. So for me, basically, it appears that he's going to be okay. Everything's all fine. Nothing was broken. That's all the reports that have come out. Sheldon Keefe says he was fine. But for me, I'm in this position right now where I feel the best situation for Auston Matthews right now might be to rest. It is a common practice in the NBA for guys to load manage. I don't think that that's necessarily a well-accepted practice within the confines of the NHL. But this Toronto team, this Toronto medical staff, they have the ability to lean on the Raptors and find out what they did and why they did it with Kawhi Leonard when he was here. They load managed their superstar player. He was the best that he could be come playoff time, and that team won a championship. Now, it doesn't necessarily 100% correlate here, but sometimes give it a try. Shake some things up, rest the guy, get him back to health if he is hindered at all. Game 18 of the regular season just finished. Why are we jamming this guy into the lineup if he's not at 100%? He's our superstar player, and we need him in the playoffs. Now, second part of this is going to go to Matt Murray and the fact that he's been announced that he's going to be playing for the third consecutive game, or starting the third consecutive game here, coming off of his 1 month injury that he was out for some considerable time there, not being able to play after he only played one game to start this season before actually getting injured again. When I look at this Matt Murray situation, the best thing I can see for him right now is to continue to play. This is a guy who needs confidence. This is a guy who needs reps. He hasn't played that much hockey over the last couple of seasons. He has dealt with sickness. He has dealt with injury. He has dealt with loss of family members. He hasn't got to be on the ice all that much over the last couple of seasons, and then he starts this year with an injury. If he is healthy, let the guy play. These aren't back-to-backs. You have a little bit of an opportunity to get a breather in between. Go out there and play. He needs some confidence. He needs some reps. And he needs to build a little bit of a rapport with his team. You can see a difference between how teams play in front of different goaltenders, whether they trust that guy or not. And if they can start to trust Matt Murray and he can trust them that he's not going to be put in bad situations, or he can make an incredible saves like he did against the New Jersey Devils on the shot from Jack Hughes' backdoor, those are the types of things that can build into his psyche, build into his confidence level, and hopefully get him to that elite level of goaltending that the Leafs gambled on him potentially being able to bring when they traded for him. When he was in Pittsburgh, he helped them go on incredible runs, winning 2 Stanley Cups. The Ottawa Senators go out on a limb, acquire him, and feel like he could be the piece to put them in the right direction. Unfortunately, he dealt with a lot of what I said between the injury, sickness, and then his father passing. Now, it is a few years removed from all of this. He's had that time to have that down period in his career. The Leafs gambled on him being able to get it back together. Let's see if he can do it. If he's going to be okay, if he wants to go in that net, put him in the net. The other factor here is that Ilya Samsonov is not yet ready to come back. They said he would miss at least like the next 1 or 2 games. This obviously being a situation where Erik Källgren would have to be the guy that goes in there. So if Matt Murray is going to be sitting there, let him play. Let him go in. For me, Auston Matthews, I'm not overly concerned about, but there is also a quote here from John Tavares who said, ever since I've come here, he's played through a lot of things, injuries, bumps, and bruises. He usually handles those things well. Hopefully his all is good and he'll be ready to go tomorrow. That's fair, but if he's dealing with all of this stuff, let the guy be. It's obviously evident here that he has dealt with some injuries, and this one I don't think is that serious, but let the guy be. Let him rest up. get back to 100%. Let's see what he can bring when he gets back to that level. And Matt Murray, let's keep it rolling here, buddy. This last loss against the New Jersey Devils was not his fault. Give him some confidence. Give him a little bit of a runway. Let's see what he can do with it. Leafs fans, thank you guys so much for tuning in here. If you like this video, if you want to see more of this, make sure to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and we will see everyone after all of our live streams. So you can turn on notifications for the live stream so you get notified as soon as the live stream starts. You can hop on in there, join us in the chat, but more importantly, keep believing.